welcome to the Boujee Healed Diva podcast with me, your host, Christine Michelle. And this is the only corner of the internets where luxury and spirituality collide, and women are reminded that they were born to lead. I am giving you an unfreaking apologetic permission slip to take up space and get paid and change the damn world the way you want to. So listen up. Today we're going to talk about Diva because there's so many questions. I've had so many people ask me like about Diva, about the word, because there's some misconceptions about that word. And so we are going to break it down. We're going to talk about it and we're going to have some fun because somewhere along the way, Diva became a dirty word. It was something that women weren't supposed to be. It was like, the proverbial God forbid women to know what she wants and refuse to shrink. And newsflash, that is patriarchy bullshit. And we are in the era of a bougie, healed, ED, yes, that's correct, woman, a diva. And even if that makes people uncomfortable, good, because they can sit with it while we rise. And so let me be honest with you, or you be honest with me. When you hear the word diva, what comes to mind? Difficult, demanding, too much, right? She's the woman who sends back her drink because it wasn't stirred clockwise and imported Himalayan ice cubes weren't included. Okay, maybe it's okay to have high standards, right? It is. But before we say that's what it means, I want to look at the Webster definition of it, and then I want you to understand the true definition of it. So in the Webster dictionary, the diva, right, was a temperamental, self-important person, right? Somebody who's like difficult and doesn't like really makes life difficult for those around her, blah blah blah, right? And that's the narrative we've been fed over and over and over and over again, right? A woman who is very difficult and doesn't allow people to speak, and etc etc. But if you also look at the other definitions, it was a famous singer or a pop singer or somebody who was really, really good at what she was doing. She was brilliant, right? That is other definitions of it. But let me tell you a truth that they won't tell you. Okay? In ancient Rome, if we look at Roman mythology, it was a diva, right? Diva was associated with the nouns divus, and it means God, goddess, divinis, which means divine, heavenly. And it was often used, this word was to celebrate women of outstanding talent. And so this woman was divine, very powerful, untouchable. She was a woman that had been deified. And so how did we go from a divine goddess to a difficult woman? It's because the world was very uncomfortable with women who were self-reliant, who were comfortable with their bodies, who were comfortable with their sexuality, who had opinions. And so any woman who spoke up and said, this is the way I want it, any woman that was very strong with this is how I want things to go, very directive, was given the term diva because she was difficult. But it has absolutely nothing to with difficulty. It has everything to do with being divine. And if you have heard me speak, which you can binge this podcast and see, your divinity, you are divine. You are a spark of creation, of all that is living through you, experiencing life through you. And when you remember that, oh, I am divine, I am divinity in my body, divinity in a body, then you remember that, no, I am a diva. And that doesn't mean difficult, it means divine. It means divinity. I am the embodiment of power, creation, and limitless possibility. I don't shrink. No, I expand. I don't ask, I decide. I don't apologize, I lead. And when you fully embody your diva, then the world moves around you. You own your power. You walk into rooms and they expand. You are divinely guided from within. You lead, you create, you have audacity. Now, let me ask you something for real. Like, how much of your life are you playing small because you don't want to seem like too much? How many times have you toned down your answer or have you pulled back because you wanted to make sure everyone else was comfortable, even though you yourself was very uncomfortable? I feel that. I felt that. I've done that. But let me tell you something, you bougie healed diva. You weren't here to be digestible. You weren't here to fit in. You were here to lead, to create, to expand. You were here to live in full alignment with your desires and create them. You were not here to chase things, chase success, come second class, second rate. You weren't here to hustle. And you definitely weren't here to apologize for your power. So I want you to ask yourself, take a second and ask yourself, where have I been shrinking to make other people comfortable? Where have I been silencing my desires because they felt too big or too much, quote unquote, for little me? And where am I ready right now to step in and become the bougie healed diva and own it? Because let me tell you something. The influence you want, the impact you want, the freedom you want, the money you want doesn't come from shrinking. It comes from unapologetically owning the one true identity that you've been come here to be, which is divinity in a body. You are divinity in your body. You are here to unapologetically lead, to love. And if you're sitting there and you're like, I'm ready to step into that energy, then I am going to tell you that the first step is becoming unbothered. This is my signature masterclass that is all about moving through life with unshakable confidence and not letting the triggers and things outside of you take you out of your power. No one, no circumstances. It's really where you stop being triggered by other people's opinions, other people's things. You start owning who you are. And because you are a Boujee Hill Diva podcast listener and a Boujee Hill Diva, I am giving you a discount, a special discount off of this amazing masterclass. You're going to be shocked when you put it in to see what the price is going to be. And the link or the code is Boujee Diva. All of it will be in the show notes. And that, I want you to listen to this again. I want you to remember, like, I was here. It is my birthright to be the diva. It is my birthright. I am divine. I am divinity in this body. And the more I own that power, the more I'm walking forth, of course, with an open heart, of course, with love, of course, of course, of course. But the more that I know that when I set boundaries, they're set. When I say this is what I'm going to do, it's done. And the more you do that, the more you're going to see things unfold in your life like never before. So, re listen to this podcast. I want you to go subscribe and, of course, give this 5 stars. And I will see you in the next episode.